Back 111 part 2, we're talking about, or I'm talking about, sex addiction. Anyway, let me see, where was I? Start the old watch again. We're talking about Tiger Woods. Supposedly he left the place in Mississippi, and I think he went to Arizona or somewhere for his, supposedly has an addiction to pain pills. Okay. Now, I'm not making light of anyone. Oh, wait a minute. Here's some more mess. Let me have this other mess, and then I'll get back to my rambling. Oh, as an aside, I scribbled something on here. The latest thing that I've heard of is Charlie Sheen. Boy, there's some stuff going on there. Maybe all the papers are, as I said, I stick with CNN, MSNBC, and so forth and so on. But they're claiming that Charlie Sheen and his wife, they all jump in bed with other guys and other chicks, and all this other kinds of stuff. And Charlie Sheen, I mean, gosh, he must have like 50,000 extra flyer miles or something from his rehab stays, and supposedly his wife is in and out of them all the time. Here's the latest. They're now calling it prehab. In other words, I did a segment on rehab, and evidently now the latest thing is if you think you might be needing rehab anytime, or you just want to bail out, they're now calling it prehab. I'll tell you, you can't keep up with this stuff. And this is just a couple things that I highlighted from an article from MSNBC. And it talks about sex addiction is treated like any other addiction, blah, 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 blah. Yet many rehabs treat sex addiction as a chemical dependency as well as a behavioral one. Patients follow the 12-step ideology, blah, 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 blah. And masturbation is forbidden forever. I've got some stuff to say about this. Just as an alcoholic is instructed to never again have another drink, so is a sex addict prohibited from self-gratification. Boy, they're taking all the fun out of it, I'll tell you. Then there's this other article, CNN, Are You a Sex Addict? Blah, 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 blah. But what I want to talk about a little bit here, which I have talked about before, and not that I know anything about anything, but I want to talk about the 12-step program. And this is Sex Addicts Anonymous. This I lifted, if you will, at that website, that Gentle Treatment or Gentle whatever it is in Mississippi. And I'm not an advocate of 12-step programs. In fact, I'm going to use a word I haven't used in a while. Diametrically opposed to it, whatever that means, for lots of reasons. But and I've done this before, but I want to do it again because, as I said, this is this Sex Addicts Anonymous. And I'm sure a lot of you most likely want to agree with me, and that's fine. And frankly, I would like your comments. I mean, don't call me bad names. Don't attack the person, attack the words. Okay. Anyway, now one thing I don't like is the fact that it mentions God a lot. Now, there's two things they mention. In all of these 12 steps, they're all the same. They talk about a power greater and a God. Okay, in other words, in number 2 is a power greater than ourselves, and number 3, we're turning our lives over to God. Number 5, we admitted to God. Number 6, ready for God to remove. Number 7, humbly ask God to remove. Number 11, our conscious contact with God as we understood God, knowledge of God, blah, 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 blah. And number 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of all this. So, folks, you see all the highlights there? This is all this God stuff. And as I mentioned in my other rant, if you will, on 12-step programs, prisoners have brought suit. Gosh, I bet that new light is just shining right on my glass. And no, I haven't had too much to drink. Prisoners have brought suits, taken jails and prisons to court, as I best understand it, in several states, and because they were forced to go to AA. And AA, by some courts, has been deemed to be a religion. And, with all this God business in there, what the heck else is it? Now, what do I have against 12 steps? Well, I have a lot. Now, the first step is we admitted we were powerless over addictive sexual behavior, that our lives had become unmanageable. Now, I don't think it's good to say we're powerless. And let's say sex. Let's not use sex in this one. Let me put alcohol in there. Okay. I don't want to talk about the sex stuff, but you'll get the point. So that we're powerless. And I don't think that's a good way, assuming we have this sexual addiction. Let's just assume there is such a thing, okay? I'll give them that. Whatever they want, I'll give them that. But why should we assume we're powerless over it if we're trying to cope with it or make it better, or whatever term you want to use? Why do we want to say we're powerless? That doesn't make any sense. I think what we should say is, hey, we've screwed up, we've made a mess of things, and damn it, I now recognize that, and let's get with it. I think that would be a more reasonable thing to do. But hey, what do I know? I'll be right back.